Hey, what's up, witches? It's me, Luna. It's 2 days past my birthday, and I have a stack of new decks to unbox and look at for you. But we're starting today with a gift that came from viewer Roxanne Pedersen, viewer and patron. Thank you so much, Roxanne. I don't know how many decks you've gotten me, but it's several. And this one is incredible. I had only thrown it onto my wish list like the day before. She saw it on there, and she's a Leo too, and happy belated birthday to you, Roxanne. This is the Pulp Tarot by Todd Alcott, and the publisher is really interesting. It's called the Unemployed Philosophers Guild, which cracked me up and made me instantly go to their website, where I see only two decks, this one and the Horror Tarot, which I will be ordering very soon because it's just as good. So here we have a really cool little box that looks like a book. You see the ribbon sticking out. It doesn't need to stick out, I guess, but I just love it. It looks like an old hardback book. A dynamic, two-fisted approach to the tarot, the Pulp Tarot gives the traditional tarot card deck a new twist, with a cast of characters captured from the glorious repository of pulp illustration. Ready to unleash the secret forces pulsing vibrantly within every living soul and lay bare the squirming, throbbing life within? So that's a question. Colorful, intriguing, and complex, the Pulp Tarot was created with only one goal in mind: to guide your questing soul from darkness to light, if you dare. Todd Alcott has been a playwright, monologuist, screenwriter, actor, and filmmaker. Wow! And is now a graphic artist living in Southern California. He's known on the internet for his cultural mashups. Oh! That reimagine popular songs as the covers of paperback novels, movie posters, magazine covers, and other 20th century ephemera. Okay, the big O that I just put out there was not about him. There's a guy that takes old ads or creates old ads or old recipes, you know, those recipes that came out in the 50s and 60s that were just god-awful. He recreates them into things that are even more god-awful, so I don't think that's this guy. And then we have the Unemployed Philosophers Guild. The website is philosophersguild.com. The copyright's 2023. Oh, there's a little sticker there. The Pulp Tarot, 78 sensational cards, thrilling major arcana, hard-boiled minor arcana, fast-paced instruction. Book describes every card in dramatic detail, and then we have some images. So the one thing that is kind of like, is that this doesn't have a magnet close. So, you know, if you're taking it someplace with you in this box, it's just going to flop open like that. Things were plasticked. I have de-plasticked them. And here's the wonderful note that Roxanne sent me. Have a wonderful, wonderful birthday, Luna. So many decks to choose from, but since you posted this one on my birthday, I went with it. Also, the deck actually called to me. Blessed be, from Roxanne Pedersen. So again, thank you so much. Her name will go in the book, and blessings will be offered every single time I pull this deck off the shelf. So let's pull. Oh, I must not have. I'm very confused. Yeah, I guess when I put it back in, I didn't put the ribbon in the right place. So that's what it's supposed to do. And yes, I have looked at this deck because how could I resist? So it's a cool little box. Too bad there's not a magnet closure. I'm wondering if one could be installed. Anyhow, here's the booklet with the Empress on the front. Oh, and this says copyright 2022. Interesting. And we have, let me see how long this is. Wow. All right. So there's a bit of an introduction. Sometime in the 1990s, a friend of mine had a fundraising party. So what it says is how an oracle works, an introduction for the skeptical. Sometime in the 1990s, a friend of mine had a fundraising party for a dance company and asked me to do tarot readings for the event. I was familiar with the tarot and I loved the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but was by no means an expert. I had only used the deck on my own. I had never done readings for other people, but I figured the stakes would be pretty low and I'd be among fellow artists, so I agreed to do it. So sat at my table in the corner, told everyone who sat down, I am not a professional reader. I have no psychic powers. I am no more qualified to read tarot spreads than you are. Laid out a spread for each patron. It was embarrassing how ill-prepared I was. Cards turned up that were complete mysteries to me. I'd have to take out the booklet and look them up. This is exactly how I started, you guys, just reading for anybody that would have me. I kept saying to the people over and over that I had only the vaguest idea what I was doing, and my own interpretations of the cards were all I could really give them. But none of that mattered. Every single person who sat down for a reading was amazed at how insightful and penetrating their spreads were. A card like the Hierophant would come up, and I'd look up its meaning in the little booklet, and the customer would be astonished. Yes, they'd say, I know exactly who that is. There's a guy at work who is exactly that. So that's when I realized just how well designed RWS is. So he goes on, when we consult an oracle, one might gather from all this that there is no true magic in the tarot. Untrue. The magic of the tarot comes from the communication of ideas across continents and generations. I was inspired by Pamela Smith, who had her own inspirations going back and back and back into the mists of time. Ideas, symbols, narratives have flown across eons, transferred from brain to brain, spreading self-knowledge and enlightenment everywhere they have touched down. You might say that the real fortune was the friends we made along the way. So the rest of that is well worth reading. The Pulp Tarot would not exist without Rider Waite Smith. Pamela Smith's illustrations for me pack so much more emotional and symbolic punch than any booklet describing tarot traditions could. Okay, so he's talking about many paths to spiritual enlightenment. And one of the purposes of this deck is to demonstrate that the principles of the tarot and of RWS transcend style. There's divinity everywhere, from the cathedral to the gutter. As Leonard Cohen put it, there's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken hallelujah. It may be helpful to think of this deck as 78 broken hallelujahs. I like that. Why pulp? For me, it has to do with gut impact. Pulp illustrations and the other mid-century American illustrations I've drawn from when creating this deck were designed to grab the viewer's attention. Pulp illustrations had to compete with hundreds of other illustrations on magazine and book covers at the corner magazine stand. That means that they tended towards hyperbole and sensationalism with dynamic compositions, saturated colors, and overstated emotions. Everything is bigger in pulp illustration, juicier, spicier, more dramatic. A pulp illustration had to punch through the noise of an ocean of printed matter, and the best pulp artists learned to get to the point as fast and as dramatically as possible. This is a wonderful description. Their illustration style was so effective, it's impossible to think of stories from the pulp era without seeing through the eyes of those artists. One thing to keep in mind when perusing my interpretations of the cards is that my interpretations are not authoritative. If you see something that I don't mention in a card, that thing is real and true. Yours is the only interpretation that matters. Also, don't get hung up on gender. The figures on the cards are presented as male and female, but each can be either, including the kings and queens. We all have masculine and feminine parts of ourselves. And then we're just straight into the cards. So we just have a paragraph on each of the majors and the same as the minors. And at the back, there's the end of the pentacles, and we have a note on process. Every one of the images in the Pulp Tarot is a collage of sorts, gleaned from hundreds of different sources and manipulated digitally in Photoshop. Most of the central figures on the various cards have been lifted from original pulp sources in my collection, magazines and novels and advertisements, along with the occasional movie poster or serious novel. Some figures have been cobbled together from multiple sources. The Two of Wands Gentleman Explorer, for instance, comes from 5 different sources. The head and trunk of the man come from a 1920s adventure magazine cover, his trousers from a different image, his boots from still another, and the tiny globe from yet another. His arms and hands are my own. A lot of the hands and arms in the deck are my own, like the Six of Pentacles and Judgment. The goal for me is to assemble all these different elements, then futz with them until they look as if they have all been painted by the same hand. Now, I've never seen the word futz in print. That was a euphemism or a substitute word for fuck for a long time. Futz around with it, but I've never seen it written out, so that's wonderful. Okay, and then his acknowledgments, and then the cards. Okay, here is the back, and it says the Pulp Tarot in just wonderful geometric format. Okay, so here we go with the majors. Here's the Fool, and look at this woman blithely just bounding off the edge of the cliff with a little dog. We have Major Arcana. So this little symbol here says Major Arcana. That says Major Arcana. Card number 0, the Fool. And I like this graphic, of the circles. So definitely true to Wade Smith. And here's the Magician. Again, it says the Major Arcana, card number 01. I love that the whole thing is in that pulp format. We don't have Roman numerals. We have card NO.01. It's wonderful. But we see the Magician with his wand. We see a cup, a blade, another wand, a pentacle. And again, that little seal that says Major Arcana. There's a little TA on it that is his signature down in the right corner. Here's the High Priestess. Oh, she's wonderful. They're just awesome. So he's got the moon here. He's got the book with Torah and the keys. Clearly, he's well-versed in the traditional Wade Smith and has worked to include these elements. This is awesome. The Empress. Definitely focusing on the sexuality and sensuality because I'm sure images of pregnant women were probably not easy to find, especially in pulp form, in magazines and stuff like that. Pregnancy was like, they didn't use the word pregnant, with child in the family way, expecting, got a bun in the oven, every kind of euphemism you could imagine, but pregnant was like too bold-faced of a word, too naked of a word. Here's the Emperor. Oh, look at him. Oh, look at the things on his vest here are the ram's heads. He is not missing a trick. Here's the Hierophant. What we don't have is the acolytes in front of clearly the Pope here with his wrinkly old face. Here's the Lovers. Oh my God. She is just covered in fig leaves. And I love that the fig leaves have a strap. Awesome. And look at this woman. So the Lovers, where we have the husband listen to me. The man looks to the woman looks up to the spirit in the sky with the wings, the winged lion. Well, there's the winged lion. This is amazing. Chariot. Oh, the atomic age. Look at the two dogs, the black and white dog. Here's Strength. Oh, awesome. These would certainly pair well with the Housewife Tarot. The Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. Look, he did the angel, what's that supposed to be? The angel, the lion, the snake, so that's Scorpion. And instead of a bull, we've got like a doggy. All right, that's a little confusing. It's okay, it's the Wheel of Fortune. I can absolutely tell what it is. Here's a Major Arcana. Is that Wanda Brown? Is that her name? I think Wanda Brown might have been the name of a movie. Here's Justice. Uh-oh. You know what I gotta do here? I gotta pull out my magnifier to see if I can read this. The Justice card, as a member of the tarot deck appears in early tarot, such as the Tarot of Marseille. It is part of the Tarot's major arcana. And gosh, this is hard to read. And usually follows the Chariot as card number 8, as card 8. Although some decks vary from this pattern, the Virtue Justice accompanies 2 of the other cardinal virtues of the major arcana, Temperance and Strength. Okay. Wow. Then we have the Hanged Man. Look at him. Ooh, that's got... I wonder if that did the same thing to you that it did to me. That almost looks like the World Trade Center, which of course was not around in the mid-century. Here's Death. Oh, this is wonderful. We've got the King and a Knight and a Pope, so it's like death comes for us all. Yes. Look at the pillars there, kind of like in the Moon card. Here is Temperance, part man, part woman, all angel. 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. Okay, I'm really loving the commentary on the card. That's amazing. Here's the Devil, the enslaved woman, the enslaved man. Just glorious. Here's the Tower. Wow. The Star. We're going back into like Art Nouveau, Art Deco for this kind of, the hat especially, I'm thinking. Here's the Moon. So we do have a dog and a wolf going awoo with human bodies. Here's the Sun. Oh, that's perfect. Here's Judgment. Yes. Get a little bit of a vibe of what the horror deck might be like, I guess. And here's the World. Look at that. Major Arcana. This image is like instantly recognizable. I don't remember exactly from where. It might have been like a, World News, something like that on TV. But just this graphic stuff, the colors, just exquisite. He is nailing this. Here's the Wands. Ace of Wands, a big castle in the background. There's the 2. So here's the dude that has the head and torso are one thing. The arms and hands are his. The trousers belong to somebody else and the boots belong to somebody else. So just an amazing job. I'm glad he pointed that out because then you really get to see the skill. And here's the 3 of Wands. So planning, executing. What we don't get is like the ships here. But I think she's on another planet. Wow. Here's the 4. Hanging out, having fun with your friends, party. There's the 5. Men and women, I love it. The 6, look at this victory card in a ticker tape parade. Fabulous. The 7. The 8, that's pretty standard. These look like, that's weird. I don't know. I mean, I thought, oh, they're cigarettes because the tips are red, but no. There's like little windows on them. Are they supposed to be spaceships? I don't know. Here's the 9. Oh, God, he's just nailed it. And the 10. Now, ooh, there's a shift. That certainly looks Art Deco-ish. I love that. Page, the Knight, the Queen, and I love that the wheels of the car up like like the horse on the Knight of Wands. Here's the Queen with her black cat, and there's the King, watching it all burn. Ace of Cups, I like these. I appreciate the little nods to the traditional. The 2. Thank you for putting a dark-skinned man. The Three of Cups. Because, boy, that's another thing you would not have seen in magazines and pulp magazines of the time, is anybody other than white people. Here's the Four. The Five. Wow. Perfect. Six Cups. And I like, instead of like six of cups, six cups. Look at this. God, the colors are just on the money. There's the Seven of Cups. That's such familiar images if you are of a certain age. There's the Eight. The Nine. Look at the tie wrapped around her fingers. And an iron. How interesting. 10. It's a reminder of how successful she looks. Just, you know, do the ironing, make me a sandwich. Here's the 10 of Cups. Family bowling night. The Page. The Knight. The Queen. Oh my goodness, does she know something, huh? And the King. At the Yacht Club. Here are the Swords. The three very, okay, one thing I hadn't noticed is, yeah, look, we don't have borders except the white border. But then suddenly when we get to the swords, we have an additional border. And, you know, the words sectioned off at the top. How interesting. Here's the Four. Yeah, big style shift here. There's the Six. And the Seven with the safe open. Perfect. The Eight. The Nine. And the 10. Wow. How interesting. The Page of Swords as female. The Knight. Excellent. Look, the Queen is Joan of Arc. Why would you not? Here's the Swords King, and then Ace of Pentacles. So the only suit that has, you know, these, you can see there's a little bit of a, it looks like, you know, dog-eared pages and stuff, but only the Swords have that kind of radical departure. Ace of Pentacles, very earthy. The Two. I like the waves and the ships, which I've always interpreted as, you know, juggling of resources. We have to juggle our resources and the emotional havoc that it brings, the emotional ups and downs in the background. Here's the Three of Pentacles. Collaboration. The Four. Oh my God, is that perfect? Look at the centipede on his neck. Ew. The Five. Wow. Wow. Just exquisitely chosen and rendered images. Here's the Six, right to the point, and there's the scales there. The Seven. So interesting, you know, the Seven can be interpreted as review, looking at the harvest, having to wait for the harvest, but watching things and kind of reviewing. This is about money bags, and the review part is counting of the cash. I'm counting up what I have. There's the Eight. The Nine, there's her falcon. Look at, she's got these like gold records on the wall. Wow. The bombshell. And the 10. Yeah. Here's the Page. So I think all but one page, all are, no, they're all female. All of the pages are female. That's cool. I like that. Thank you. That's a very familiar image too. Here's the knight. It doesn't go anywhere. He's not in the car. The queen. Look at her. And the king. Cardstock is cardstock. I'm not really anticipating trouble shuffling this. Okay, let's get going with a blessing of this deck. Roxanne, this is so much fun. I am digging this to the maximum. All right. Oops. We've had such a wonderful time celebrating our birthdays. If you don't know, mine is August 1st. My daughter's is August 2nd. So we have the twin birthday celebration. All right. By air and fire, may you be purified and charged. By water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, fair warning, may the spirit awaken. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you for being here. Thank you for such a wonderful birthday month. I thank you in advance. And I offer you fresh water and the fire of Azrael. Please help me, as you always do, to give a good message to Roxanne. Because she gifted me with this deck, she gets a personal reading from it. So here comes the first shuffle. Wait. Fire of Azrael. That the spirit of divination awakens in this deck and in my mind and in this session. It's easy to hold. It's a perfect size. Yeah, no problem at all. Woohoo! Heck yeah. See, if a company that does not make decks can find the right cardstock, why can't anybody else? Looking at you, Hay House. And is it Red Feather? There are several others that have ridiculously thick cardstock. Let's do some cuts. Thunder. It's been raining for the last several days. And it's good because we've been in a drought and we need the rain, but it's too much, as usual. All right. Oh, all right, here we go. The Ace of Cups just flipped out there. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, so we've got a pretty good mix here. We don't have any majors, so I will definitely go and pull a major before it's all done. So I'm going to go intuitively first for you, Roxanne, and then I will go to the book. Ace of Cups right out of the chute says there's an emotional reset going on. There's a beginning of joy happening. Something that lets you feel refreshed, that something has been cleansed away. And on one side here, we've got the Five of Pentacles, which talks about really struggling in the material sense, struggling either with money, with resources. You see this woman with the baby and all these big, look at the church, these big buildings, success, images of success. And here she is with her baby and it's snowing, And so we've got that. And Five of Pentacles to me, more than just, the fact of poverty, it says to me, that's a little better. It's the fear. It's the fear of poverty, the fear of being left out in the cold. It can represent that mindset, that catastrophizing mindset where one small thing goes wrong. I remember witnessing my ex-husband doing this once, where something happened with our car. It needed to go in the shop, and he didn't know how he was going to get to work. And I'm like, it's okay, take a day off. We'll get the car fixed. But he was like, well, I'm going to take a day off and then this. And it was just, then I'm going to miss this, and then I'm going to get fired, and then we're going to wait. And then, then you end up naked in a ditch somewhere. So fear, time to address the fear. 8 of Wands says things are moving quickly forward. It's on the future side of things. Then we have the Queen of Wands and the 8 of Swords. Or I'm sorry, Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is your gifts. It's your psychic ability, the ability that you have to know, to feel, to sense what's going on. And the 8 of Swords here says it's time to really dial into that and look at how you keep yourself bound and blind with fears. And then we've got the Knight of Cups, who has something to offer. All right, Ace of Cups, Knight of Cups. Let's go to the book before I start throwing more cards. All right. Ace of Cups. The suit of cups deals with emotions, and so the Ace of Cups represents an emotional gift that has arrived out of the blue. This cup literally overfloweth, with 5 streams of water representing your 5 senses, replenishing the lily-covered pond below. As Wands is a fire suit, Cups is a water suit, with water representing your intuition, your emotions more than intuition. A white dove of peace has shown up to dip a Eucharist wafer into your cup. I'm not a big believer in the Eucharist, but a white dove showing up to get in on the ground floor of your emotional gift feels like a good omen. Then we have 5 of Pentacles. Halfway through the suit, and things are not getting any better for our journeyer. Okay, so he tracks through. She is now an unwed single mother clad in rags, alone in the big city on a winter's night, being followed by a man with an unknown agenda. Yeah, you see his little shadow behind her. Wealth is all around her. Pentacles flash in a neon sign over her head. This is a card about hitting rock bottom with your arms filled with mounting pressures and threats right behind you. And yet the card also suggests everything you need is all around you. You just need to figure out how to get it. And then we've got fast movement. The 8 of Wands is one of the most mysterious cards in the deck. All we know is that some sort of a change is coming, and it's a big one. In this deck, it's an outside force from outer space. Okay, so those are spaceships. But for you, it might be the new corporate shakeup or changes in the law that will make your life easier or harder. And while a sky full of UFOs might seem like bad news, not everyone is terrified. The woman on the ground waves her hanky at them. So, yeah, it's like this is coming on the past side of the spread. So the fears, and she's looking to the past. So I want you to look at deep-seated, maybe voices that got installed in your head a long, long time ago. The infant might say, going way, way back to early childhood, that mindset of lack. And here says, time to move into the future. Then we have Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups has reached her emotional goals. She is secure, comfortable, self-effacing, and confident. She's achieved domestic contentment, the kind of contentment that comes from within. She holds her cup close. Her emotional maturity and stability has been hard-won and is immensely valuable to her. It brings her warmth and strength. So these two, I'm kind of thinking that those fears might crop up when things start to move really fast and we're not sure, So it's like, there's too much going on and it makes the fears crop up. But Queen of Cups here says, I'm secure, has achieved domestic contentment. So she knows where stability and security come from, and you have that to rest in, to calm yourself. Then 8 of Swords. If you thought things were going to turn around for the journey or in the Swords, I have bad news for you. It only gets more brutal from here. The 8 of Swords shows a woman bound and blindfolded on a beach, perhaps waiting for high tide to arrive to drown her. She's trapped inside her mind, which is feeding her a stream of bad ideas. Alternately, she's trapped by other people's ideas, being persecuted by other people's ideas. Okay, so here we've got this long-standing, and that crops up when things are moving fast. And here you've got the skills to kind of keep your emotions from just causing you to generate thoughts, but it's like still we have those thoughts being generated. So I'm looking here, you've got the emotional maturity to recognize that it really is your thoughts that keep you bound. And even if things are tight, you have the emotional stability to keep yourself from rapidly going into this, oh no, I'm stuck, oh no, there's nothing I can do about it. This card, I always attach the phrase to it, there's just nothing I can do. I just don't have a choice. But the thing is, you're not seeing the choices, choosing not to see the choices. So whenever there's a blindfold card, the advice is to take the blindfold off. Thunder. Take the blindfold off and really look at the situation dispassionately, from a point of emotional maturity, not from being awash in emotions. So that's one of the things that maybe this Queen of Cups is saying, that your emotional state can sort of generate those thoughts that make you feel hemmed in again. But the advice is to really tap into your psychic ability, check in with your emotions. And one of the things that I do, if I'm having, an issue, or someone comes to me with an issue that they're very worried about what's going to happen, is I will check in with right here, with my heart chakra. And there's a feeling, if there's really something to worry about, I will feel it here. There's like a tightness, there's that's the only way I can describe it, a tense inhale that happens here. If this feels calm, it tells me there really is nothing to worry about, and I can stop generating those fearful emotions. So I think that's what's happening here. And then Knight of Cups. Like the other knights, the Knight of Cups is on a mission. In this case, he's on a mission to deliver an emotional gift. He's in a healthy, green, natural world of mountains and plains, but the wind is at his face, suggesting that he's facing some resistance on his journey. He's well dressed for the journey and, most important, perseverant in his task. There's no doubt he will reach his goal. You might be the Knight of Cups, or it might be someone you know, someone who's trying to get through to you despite resistance. How interesting. So there could be someone that's like, trying to bring you out of the fear state. And this Queen of Cups being right next to it says, I'm receptive to that. So allow yourself to be bolstered by someone that says, here, let me help you work your way through this, through these fears, so that you're not falling prey to them. Let's look for the first major. And there it is, the Chariot. So again, this is a reminder that you are in the driver's seat. This talks about checking your thought processes to make sure that they are not generating emotions that keep you bound. The Wand says things are actually moving forward, maybe a little too quickly for your perfect peace of mind in the present, but the Chariot is the reminder of who is in the driver's seat, who is steering the car, right? So, and in the traditional Chariot, nobody's holding the reins, so it has that connotation of your state of mind, your state of emotion, your calmness, your stability. you know, is what drives things forward. So, meditation practice, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, those things can talk about meditation practices as well. But what do you think? What Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles? We got everything. We had all four suits. We have majors and minors. We have an ace, and we have our major at the end. I'm glad it was the first one up. I kind of thought it might be. Anyway, let me know what you think. And if you would like a personal reading from me, you can get a deck from my wish list below and send it to me. If you have a particular question, you can stick a little note for me in with the package, or Amazon will, and I will read for you to that particular question. Many more unboxings and deep dives to come with all these wonderful new decks. Thanks again, Roxanne. Many blessings to you for the wonderful support you've given me, and I will see you soon. Until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.